So I got a lot of questions back from you guys, so this video is to answer all of your questions. And it's really exciting. It makes me feel like you are very interested in getting to know more about me. So I choose to believe that and that you didn't submit a question just to get bonus points. That sounds kind of snooty, right? Does that sound bad?
No, I don't think
Is
so.
it funny? I'll say it again and see what I like better. So I got a lot of questions back from you from the Ask Me Anything assignment, which is very exciting. I got lots of questions about me and why I wanted to teach and a lot of different things. So this video is to answer all of your questions. I'm going to answer every question that I got. So this video might be a little long, but I'm going to try and answer as quickly and efficiently as I can. So I got a lot of questions about why I wanted to teach or why I want to teach this subject or what made me want to be a college professor, why did I choose this profession. So a lot of things about why I'm teaching or if I like teaching. So all of those questions related to that, I hope to answer those in kind of one answer. So really, to be honest, I never knew that I wanted to teach. I very specifically remember the day that I said, I will never be a teacher. I come from a family of teachers. My mom was an elementary school teacher, and there was this one day that I would go to her classroom all the time after school, and she just gave this talk to all of her students about how God gave us brains to think and to respect each other, and that's how we're different than other animals. And I swear, like 30 seconds after that, there was some little kid kicking another kid's book bag. And I was like, oh my God, I could never be a teacher, and I never want to be a teacher. But as I got older and going through college, in my mind, teaching like high school, K 12, elementary school is very different than teaching in college. Um, so to me, I was a lot more open to teaching in college more so than like high school or elementary school. Um, Kind of how I came to start teaching and being an instructor um, really is I only started teaching whenever I got this job at Pearl River. So I told you that I started working at William Carey right after college, and I was the student activities director. So in that role, I started to learn a lot about leadership, and student development. And learning about student development, I kind of stumbled across the subject of orientation and how to prepare new and first time students. And a lot of colleges do orientation classes. So that subject was really interesting to me. And at the time, William Carey, they had a weekend orientation, but they didn't have an orientation class. So I just did a lot of research on what that looked like, and that kind of led me to applying to the job that I have now. And in my role, teaching orientation in college life is it's just part of my job. So I've learned how to do that through this position, and I've really, really enjoyed it. And it's definitely made me more open to teaching other subjects, not just college life. My background, my undergrad and master's is in business and marketing, so really learning how to teach and how to be an instructor has opened up my mind, and I would be open, to teaching other subjects too. So a lot of similar questions on that is also how did I know like what field was for me, or how I knew what I wanted to major in. In high school, I was in a VOTEC program, and it was like a 2-year business program in high school. And I just did a lot of computer stuff and learned about Microsoft Word and Excel. And to me, just creating documents and being in an office type environment was attractive and appealing to me. So I knew I wanted to do something business related. I'm not a math person, I wasn't super into science. I just didn't know a lot about majors and professions, not necessarily majors, but what kind of jobs are available out there, and really what you major in college could be very different than what you actually do for your job. So that's something important to keep in mind. Follow something that you enjoy doing or a subject that you're passionate about, but also be open to other careers that are related to that. So I kind of, in my mind, I thought, okay, if you can either be like a doctor or a nurse. So I didn't really think of anything else besides those two careers. So I knew I didn't want to be any of those. I did, I did think about going into nursing at one point. So I may have changed my major at one time with intention of doing that, and that I would be not a great nurse at all. I definitely could not do that. So I learned that very quickly, and just kind of decided to stick to something business related. So I just did research, and I discovered marketing. And the reason that I chose marketing for my undergrad is that marketing covers a lot of areas of business, like public relations and advertising, management. There's a lot of things that relate to each other in marketing, so that seemed like a major that I could study, but it would have multiple options for me. So when I did figure out what I wanted to do, I would still be qualified to do several different things. So a couple other questions was, how long have I been teaching this class, and do you love what you do? So I started teaching this class 3 years ago, so I've been teaching for about 3 years. And I definitely love what I do. I love my job, and I love being able to teach classes. And along those lines, someone else asked me if I have ever taught a class in person, and which one do I prefer. So I do teach an in-person class, and I actually started teaching this class face-to-face. So I love that. I like being able to see students on a weekly basis and build relationships with those. Sometimes it's hard to have like a one-way conversation with my computer screen. And, I'm talking to you. Really, I'm like talking to my computer screen. So sometimes it's challenging. I don't get to see your like reaction and how you're receiving the information that I'm telling you. So sometimes it can be challenging, but I actually started teaching online last year, and I really do love it. I like teaching both online and in person. So I don't know if I have a preference just yet. I think there's pros and cons to each, and I definitely like teaching both equally. All right. So another question was, how did college or community college differ at a university? What were some things you loved and hated about both? So I think community college gives you the opportunity to have a better or closer relationship with your instructors and your classmates. Sometimes at a university, I think I felt lost. There was just so many students. When you go to class, you're in a class. Sometimes there can be like 100 students in one class. So your instructor doesn't really get to know you as much. And at Pearl River, I definitely had a closer relationship with my instructors. And when I started working here, even though I didn't think my instructors would remember me, a lot of them do remember teaching me. So I think just that close relationship is a really big difference between community college and university. Some things that I loved and hated about both. Well, I went to high school in Poplarville, and Pearl River is located in Poplarville. So I think right out of high school, I was really ready for like a change and to be independent. So I think that may have been something that I wish. I think at the time I wish that I was in a different city. And something that I already said, that community college had a very like close-knit community, so that's definitely something that I loved. I feel like I was able to join organizations, and I had more time to really experience being a college student, I was able to join clubs and organizations. I did a really cool leadership class with Dr. Leatherwood that I just really loved. I was a work study student on campus, so I got to know a lot of people who worked on campus as well and build really great relationships and mentors. And I feel like at university or USM, I didn't really get an opportunity to find a mentor and get that like one-on-one connection or relationship. So those are kind of my pros and cons of both. Someone else asked, if I enjoy teaching, which I do. They mentioned that their backup plan is to major in elementary education. So any tips or advice? I think pursue whatever you're passionate about, whatever subject that you like. You can always teach as a backup plan, but you don't have to major in education in order to teach. There are different requirements, and if you do want to do K-12, then you have to be licensed. But if you teach in higher education, you need a master's level or higher to do that. So it really depends. At a higher education or community college level, you are able to teach whatever subject. You have to have a certain amount of hours in a particular subject. So whatever your major is or whatever your degree is in, that's what you'd be able to teach. So I encourage you to get the degree that you're interested in and passionate about. Let's say you love like public relations or communications. You could get your master's in that, and then if you ever do fall back into teaching or fall back on that option, then you could teach something like, public speaking. So I would say, kind of pursue whatever subject that you're most passionate about. It's going to make learning about that subject a lot more interesting. So one question was, what was your college experience like, and what are some things you did to stay focused? I was able to live on campus whenever I went to Pearl River Community College. So my college experience at Pearl River was very enjoyable because I did live on campus. And like I said, I was able to get involved and meet new people. The college experience at USM was very different. I lived off campus. I worked a lot of part-time jobs. So staying focused, some things I did to stay focused. I think my mom always encouraged me to go to college, and I knew that to have a degree would give me better job options. So I think for me, there really wasn't an option of not going to college. In my mind, that was something that I had to do. So that was something that helped me stay focused. And I knew what I wanted my life to look like, that I wanted to have a family and have a home and be able to invest in things like that would make me happy. So for me, just knowing, okay, I have to finish college first before I can do these things, helped me stay focused and kind of get through those college years. And honestly, even if you do get your bachelor's, you're just looking at 4 years of college. They go by very fast. Someone else asked, how does this class help you for the future? So in this class, we're going to talk about a lot of really, really good things. Hopefully you're already learning some things that maybe you didn't know before, but we're also going to dive into like study tips and techniques, test taking tips and strategies. So that can definitely be helpful for you in other classes and in the future. We're also going to talk a little bit about careers and choosing your major. We're going to do a career assessment, so that could be helpful for some of you as well if you're undecided. We're going to take a test that kind of takes some of your interests and things that you prefer or enjoy into consideration and give you just a really long list of different careers that you may like. And then we're also going to look into how to graduate for whatever major you choose or whatever you intend to do. In this class, I'm going to advise you for the next semester. So I think all of those things are going to help you in the future. And I think that answers another question. Someone said that they want to figure out what they're good at or what they enjoy. That way they can major in something that makes them happy. How do you go about that? Again, that career coach assessment, that may be helpful to you. But honestly, the best way to find what you like or what you think you might be interested in as a career choice is to talk to people and, ask your parents, friends, or other people that you look up to. Find out what they do. Do you think that their life is cool or what they do is cool? You just have to learn as much as you can about everything that's offered. Find someone that you look up to, and figure out what they do, how they got there, what degree they have. Because, like I said earlier, just because you have a degree in something um, doesn't mean that you can't do another job, or that you wouldn't be qualified for another type of career. So definitely do your research and just talk to as many people as you can. Someone else asked, what do you think is the most effective study method? And I think this really depends on your learning style. And this is another topic that we're going to talk about in this class. So we're going to learn about learning styles, and you're going to take an inventory task that tells you, are you a visual learner, auditory, kinesthetic? And there are specific study tips or ways to study for your learning style. And I think that question depends on what your learning style is. So I think you just have to figure out what your learning style is and figure out the best way to learn for that. Another question was, what's the appropriate way to suggest a new athletic activity like track and field? Do you think it would be hard to accomplish? So I know that on the Poplarville campus we have a cross-country team, so I would definitely kind of look into that. But the person that you would talk to about that is going to be Jeff Long. He is the VP of Student Services, so I would definitely talk to him about. He's also athletic director, so he's the perfect person to talk to about new activity sports. Someone else asked if I have ever visited a foreign European country, and if so, which one? So that's a really fun question. Thank you for asking that. I've had the opportunity to travel overseas a few times. So I've been able to go to England, Scotland, and Ireland, and those are all three beautiful and really awesome countries. All of those, they were just really fun. When I was in England, I got to go to a few places, but I did go to London, and that was so fun. I got to see Les Mis at the theater, and it was wonderful. London was a really good time. In Scotland, I went to Edinburgh, and that was really fun as well. And then when I went to Scotland, I got to go on St. Patrick's Day, so it was very cool. I think we went to Killarney on St. Patrick's Day, and it was a great experience to see how they celebrated that holiday. Someone else asked, what high school did you graduate from? Did you attend Pearl River? So yes, I went to Poplarville High School. I'm originally from the coast, but I moved whenever I was in high school, so I graduated from Poplarville, and I did go to Pearl River. How do you balance work and personal life? I feel like most people are still trying to figure that out. I think having priorities is definitely helps you balance your time and figure out what you should be spending or putting all of your effort into. So definitely finding balance is important. Time management is so critical in that, and you only have a set amount of hours in the day, so figuring out how you can spend that and maximize your time is really important. But if you're looking for balance, again, you have to figure out what's most important to you at that time in your life, and how do you achieve that. So if you're in college right now, your priority should be being successful in your classes. So the time that you do have, prioritizing that time to studying and being the best student you can, that's how you find balance. You said you like to garden. Do you grow fruits or veggies? I have never grown any fruits. I do grow vegetables. This spring, hopefully soon, I want to make a raised flower bed. I don't know how many of you are really interested in this, but I want to do a raised flower bed and do a bunch of vegetables. I do a lot of herbs too, kind of year round, because I use those a lot whenever I cook. So I've done just like tomatoes, peppers, those types of things, nothing too crazy. My mom is a really big gardener. She lives in Lumberton. They have a lot of property in a huge area to do a really big garden. So Any years that I'm not able to do a garden myself, she is more than happy to provide me with whatever vegetables that she does. So she does some really cool ones. She's done like potatoes and carrots and lots of good stuff. What is your son's name? His name is Oliver. He is going to be 2 in March, and he is really just a ham. He's so funny. During your college years or life period, what are some things you may have struggled with, and how do you overcome them? I struggle with prioritizing time and having such a full plate. I'm going to get better with prioritizing my time. Man, you know what? I do too. I think that is time management is always going to be something that you have to be intentional about. Having good time management doesn't just happen. You have to work at it. You have to plan. I have a planner that I really use every day. I'm looking for it. So this is kind of my life. I bought this. I got a new one at the beginning of this year. And what I really like about it is that it has like a goals section. So there's a place to write out what your personal goals are, and it really kind of encompasses a bunch of different areas of life. So I've just kind of written some notes, but different areas. Which way am I going here? Okay. So there's like home life, your goals for personal, spiritual, all of it. It lets you kind of think through and write out all those things, and every month there's a place at the beginning of each month to write out your goals that you want to work on for that month, and some action plans. We're going to talk about goal setting in this class as well, but that's why I love this planner so much, is because it gives me an opportunity to kind of think and reflect. And then I also have like a list of things like my meetings and appointments and to-do list. Also gives me a place to write down like what I plan to cook for dinner and all those other things in life, not just work things. So I think struggling with time management, you really have to find a system that works for you. And for me, writing things down and taking just like 5 minutes a day to write down my appointments and my to-do list for the day is really, really helpful and beneficial. And then taking time to kind of reflect on what I want to accomplish each month is really important too. The first part of that question, though, was what's something that I struggled with during college. And something I think that I struggled with was how I viewed learning when I was in college. I saw learning as just getting kind of bare minimum, like I'm just going to do whatever I have to pass this class. I did not see it as an opportunity to learn, and that's what an education is. You're learning and you're expanding your knowledge, right? So I didn't really view it as that. I just saw it as something I have to do to get a degree, to get a job, and I feel like that was something that was challenging for me, and just having that mindset. If I could go back, I would definitely do it differently. When you're in college, I would encourage you to really just be a sponge and immerse yourself in the learning experience and in education in general, and just learning as much as you can. Even if it's not a subject, like you might be taking English Comp 1 right now or some history classes. You may not be a history major nor an English major, but try to immerse yourself and view that as just kind of building blocks for what you're going to do or learn later on. English Comp 1, you may think you're not going to be an English major, so you really don't care about that. But if you continue in college and you want to get a bachelor's degree, you're going to be writing a lot of papers for your classes. So that's just a good skill to have. So I think just viewing how you look at learning and your education experience in general is very important. That's definitely something I struggled with and wish I could change. Okay, so I think I answered everyone's questions. If I missed something, definitely let me know, and I will write you back and answer your question. But thank you so much. Hopefully, if you made it to the end of the video, you enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought, and thanks for watching.